Welcome back. Mr. Agarwal of IndiaMART joining us now to discuss the changing commerce trends amid COVID as well. Mr. Agarwal, thanks for joining us. And, you also had a stellar performance in Q1. So let's talk about this. Subscribers first. Since it's your first time here with us, firstly, could you break down the unit economics for us, help us understand that? We believe you have about 1.5 lakh users paying an annual subscription fee. How much per user per month? How many active users? And how does that translate into revenue?
So the way it works is we have about 6 million suppliers listing about 68 million products and services in about 100,000 product categories on IndiaMART. Now, out of that, about 1,47,000 were paying customer as on 31st March, which has reduced to 1,33,000 as of 30th June this year. Average revenue per customer on an annual basis is about 44,000 rupees. That is can be calculated with the income from operation and divide by the total number of customers. So this is how it is. And in terms of margins, in the last year, we did a approximate margin of about 28%. And last quarter, it was around 31% EBITDA margin at 52 crore rupees, which has, because in the current quarter, what has happened, the way our business works in a subscription revenue, we collect monies in advance for 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year subscription, along with certain monthly customers. Now, if you see, most of our revenue flows into our flows from the deferred revenue, and we have a deferred revenue of about 628 crores as on 30th June, which has increased by 3% over the last year from 610 crores. So from deferred revenue, it goes into the revenue. So we get a revenue stabilization in our business, whereas the cost rationalization that we have done due to current economic environment, that has come immediately. And that is why you see our EBITDA margin has improved from 52 crore rupees to 73 crore rupees, mainly due to lower volume in terms of buyer and sellers during the lockdown, as well as we have taken certain temporary cost cut on the rental and salaries as well. So which has shown in the increase in the EBITDA margin. Having said that, I think this pandemic and this particular economic crisis has given us a chance to look at all our cost metrics and what is good to have and what is must have. We have done a lot of automation, etc. And we believe that going forward, our cost base would decline from the previous quarters to by 10% odd going forward.
Okay, interesting. Are you also seeing a slowdown in customer addition? Are you seeing attrition or unwillingness to pay from existing customers during the pandemic?
Yeah, this is a general trend that you can see. When lockdown was announced in the last week of March, suddenly everything fell off the cliff. Whereas IndiaMART, and in a week times we discovered that IndiaMART probably is the very important destination for buyers, because buyers were looking for health and hygiene and chemicals and food supplies, which were very essential to keep the healthcare system going on. And we started to get a lot of traffic from there on. So there are 100,000 categories, as I said. About 1/3 of the categories started to break out due to this particular pandemic-led lockdown. However, another 1/3 of the categories remain more or less in the similar region as they remain in the past. And 1/3 of the categories, you can see a definite slowdown, because certain businesses and certain industries are much more severely affected. As you can see, automobile, restaurant, food, hotel. So at IndiaMART, we are the suppliers for many such industries in terms of their kitchen equipment, in terms of their cleaning supplies and their raw material and their machinery and services. So I think it's a mixed bag for us in terms of buyer traffic. If you see, on the supplier side, obviously we are an MSME platform, and being an MSME platform, a lot of MSMEs are generally going through a crisis because either their businesses are shut down or the demand has fallen. So in certain categories, the demand has grown through the roof, but in certain categories, the demand has fallen. So obviously there are willingness to pay in certain category, and there is unwillingness to continue or be able to survive in certain categories. If you see, prior to this particular period, most of our sales and services used to happen through field sales force. So about 2/3 of our revenues would come from the field sales force. During the lockdown, once we started to work from home, and even now, we do not allow any face-to-face customer meeting or customer premise meeting. About that portion which we used to do on online and telesales, that has increased. So we are now getting almost all of our revenues through the field, through the telephone and the online sales mechanism. So of the online businesses, IndiaMART has emerged as a destination of choice for many products which earlier people thought they could find elsewhere. When under the lockdown, they could find that IndiaMART is probably the only destination for that. So it's a mixed bag in the near term, but in the long run, I think that will definitely benefit as the customer is now willing to come online and make the payment. At the same time, the buyers are coming more frequently on IndiaMART for their choice of products. And the Make in India push that is happening because of the Prime Minister's vision, as well as the lower taxes that we did over the last year, we believe the more manufacturing would happen in the longer period of time. So that should help as well.
Sure. Sure. Dinesh, a few years back, you had a monopoly in the entire industry. You had no competition, but now you've got platforms like Udaan as well. So as a strategy, what are your thoughts on this, and how is it that you will differentiate from the other platforms prevalent in the market right now and try and gain more market share, eating into the pie of the competitors?
So we look at it from multiple angles. First of all, every B2B and every SME platform is not the same. If you compare IndiaMART, we deal into almost all kind of categories, starting from components to raw materials to machinery to customized goods to truckload of goods, as well as high value machineries like cranes and generators and those kind of things. Secondly, the amount of data that we have collected in terms of behavioral data from the suppliers, when suppliers come and choose the RFQ on our platform, we exactly come to know which particular categories are of their preference, which particular price points are of their preference, and which particular locations are of their preference. Having said that, every competition is welcome, and from 2 points of view. One, external capital comes into the country, which helps make education for the MSMEs and make more people go online. At the same time, there could be more innovation that can happen in various companies, various separate startups, and we could learn from them, and we could implement certain things in our platform at much larger scale. So, for example, we found that a lot of people who were generating leads through IndiaMART, or the buyers who were making calls through IndiaMART, and later on left to interact on their own. We created a CRM platform or a chat platform on IndiaMART itself. Now, today, almost 100,000 suppliers, individual suppliers, and millions of buyers are chatting through that platform, and they are able to negotiate their deals, as well as they are able to now accept payment for smaller items using UPI or debit card and credit card. So we are adding stack by stack items, at a larger scale. Another thing is the prices which are available across IndiaMART categories that you see. Even smallest item, for example, if you look at the face mask, which has been the very good category, or if you look at hand sanitizer, it is not only the alcohol and the glycerine that goes into it. There is a bottle and there is a bottle cap of a different type, and all that has to be manufactured and has to be supplied. So we provide a very unique advantage of from raw material to component to machinery to the finished goods all the way. Having said that, if you see most of the competition that is emerging, which is called B2B competition, they are more like a Metro Cash and Carry or Walmart Wholesale, who typically deal on the FMCG products and trying to solve a problem between manufacturer and dealer distribution. So, and those categories are not very important categories from IndiaMART perspective.
Fair point. I also understand that Amazon has started something called as Amazon Business. The reason why I'm using Amazon for reference is because when Amazon gets into one market, it makes sure that others suffer. Isn't that a potential risk that Amazon suddenly decides to take the Amazon Business big?
Just understand from their Amazon USA and Amazon Europe strategy, they also have an Amazon Business platform there. The local Amazon Business platform is more like Metro Cash and Carry and Walmart Wholesale, which deals into FMCG products and office supplies products, which are ready-made in goods, which can be delivered typically from half a kg to 5 kg, 10 kg packaged items, and which typically are like A4 size paper or toilet paper, which typically are dealt into a very smaller quantities. Whereas if you look at IndiaMART, we are a very different platform from that perspective. And in the category of Amazon Business now, JioMart is also coming, and Jio SME POS is also coming. So I guess that particular market is already very crowded, and we feel that there is nobody who is solving the problem of the real B2B, which is behind the scene B2B. Where when you make a shirt, you get buttons, you get thread, and you get button making machine, you get packaging, you get labels to be printed, the boxes, the crates where you are shipping. So we are very different from that perspective. If you go to IndiaMART presentation, you will find the kind of categories that we deal with and the kind of categories that other B2B business platforms deal with, which are typically in the FMCG and office supplies categories.
Okay, thank you for joining us this morning, Dinesh, and running us through all the different factors at play there. Good speaking with you.
Thank you very much.
Take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute.